I needed this. I needed this intro music to forget a bit, to forget about my Madrid trip. That in a way was really great. In a way was extremely annoying. But we will speak about it today. We are with three because we needed to have the strength, the passion of Kevin together with us. Welcome, Kevin. How are you doing, buddy?
It's great to be back. I think my second time joining this fun collaborative session. And I think to your point, coming right off of yesterday's match, can't think of a better group to be with. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Before I introduce the two other ones with exactly the same background as me, I want to say and repeat that you know it every Thursday, 10 p.m. Italian time, we are live here on GJustjuve. That episode will be, of course, immediately available on replay for the people that missed it. But then, a few hours later, is available on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, on the channel of Turin Giants. I know that you are already a lot that are listening to us. Continue to do it. Leave a message also there. Put the stars. I don't know how you say it there on the podcast, but do whatever you know what to do. Do it because it's supporting us a lot. So thank you for being here. I know it's already the seventh game that we don't win. In today's episode, I was about to cancel it because I thought that from the moment that we started, we didn't win a single game. And you know how superstitious I am. And Superstition told me, Beppe, these guys are bringing bad luck here, so don't invite them anymore. Don't do the live. But actually, it's wrong because when we started, it was actually before Inter and we won against Inter. So we can say actually it's not because of us. Buongiorno, buonasera, Frederic and Zach. Ciao, guys.
Ciao, Beppe. My name is Beppe Due for today. Happy to be here, though, again, under the circumstances, not maybe ideal.
Beppe Tre, but yeah, in mind, but not in heart. I feel disheartened, but we'll get into that right after. Beppe, just before we start officially, I
Yeah.
saw a lot of content you made, like a lot of nice content while you're in Madrid. Could you tell us something about, the journey, maybe not specific details, but something how it went or the atmosphere or whatever? Because I'm very curious. I wanted to text you, but I thought he's so busy. I'm just gonna ask him on live. So
No, I tell you immediately. Look, it's always great. It's first of all, let's say if you are honored to go to Bernabeu, you cannot complain. First of all, then on top of that, if you can work with a club that you love, who can complain? Of course, I am a supporter. I am, and I will forever be. And then a lot is influenced, of course, by the result of the game. And we'll come back there later. But I must say that it was really, really nice. What I really love is the moment that you arrive, you already have some supporters, or at the airport already, or when you arrive in the neighborhood of the hotel, they know you and they start speaking, and it's really nice to speak with the supporters. That it's in Spanish, English, Italian, whatever. Really, really beautiful. Then immediately we started organizing an event for the Juventus official fan clubs where they get the invitation. This time we had our friend Alessio Tacchinardi together with us. We did a meet and greet and then also a Q&A where they won things. They were 10 questions and every correct answer, they could win an actual season shirt with the name of Tacchinardi stamped. And then for the winner, they could go on the podium. Then to have that shirt also signed, it was really nice actually. Oh, when you gave away like 10 shirts like that, it's really, really beautiful. But I must say that I did an interview of 45 minutes in front of the people with him. He's a huge Juventino. He's a big fan. He was already. And he's still, of course, he's friends with Igor Tudor. He speaks with him. So he told me also some inside information, which is always nice to know. But I must say that the thing that was the most beautiful before speaking about Bernabeu and the stadium is that there is that sense of nostalgia really when he speaks. Everything he says is really from the heart of a Juventino. We were like 85 members that were there watching, listening, and you clearly see the passion, the love for Juve, and the will that this Juve can potentially one day come back, because clearly we are not at that level from his Juve. He started in 94. He played 404 games with us, so 15 trophies. We are not there. He's conscious about it. He's not lying also about it. But that will, that friendship in the locker room, also away from social media, because he says it's different times as well. We need to be conscious about that. It's a new era, which is sometimes more difficult for players. In the past, he told me, for example, you could go out even before playing a game the night before, because you needed to think about something else, and there was absolutely no problem, of course, if the day after you were able to perform, which today it's impossible anymore, because the player cannot go out. If he goes out, it's over. So he stays at home, he annoys himself, he starts with his mobile phone checking what's on social media, sometimes even posting things that they should not post. So it's a different, we will speak about that as well, I think, right, about Locatelli. But it was really beautiful. Then I asked him a few Q&As questions, where there was a lot of fun. I asked him to relive one moment, from or the very first start, his first game at Juve, or his very first goal, or la Coppa Intercontinentale, which they won in Tokyo with the goal of Alex Del Piero, or the fourth moment was il 5 Maggio, the Perugia. And I had an idea what he would answer, but when I just finished, he went immediately like, oh no, 5 Maggio, the Scudetto of 2002, is absolutely something that I would relive again and again and again, because all the other ones were great moments, because you chose really well. But that moment was so special. I would live it every single day. And then also putting a bit of jokes on Inter there. That's beautiful, because he doesn't hold back. That was really beautiful. So fantastic evening. And then the day after, Bernabeu, just to tell you in a few words, new stadium. I was there in Bernabeu without watching a game, but I entered the stadium in 2017, I believe, where it was the old one. You clearly see already from outside, it's huge. It's huge. It's impressive. Then you enter inside. Wow, I must say, really, wow. It's really impressive how huge it is, how big it is. All the LEDs around the stadium are fantastic, with all the information you have. I believe it like two huge big screens on the left and on the right behind the goal, so up. And then in the middle, you even have two more screens in the middle, two in the back, which give you, in terms of comfort, in terms of the experience that you are living, is really, really well thought. The roof was closed, which, of course, increase the atmosphere in the stadium, because everything stays inside. It's warm. It's warm inside, so you don't need a jacket when you are in. Then hopefully for you they will close the roof, because then you have a problem. But that's great. Everything was, you see that it's a really new stadium. I must say about Il Tifo, the support of Real Madrid, is, you clearly see that it's fake. You clearly see that it's not a warm stadium a la, I don't know, Sevilla or Atletico Madrid or other stadiums that I had the opportunity to visit in my life. Behind the goal, you see all the supporters dressed in white. I have never received that unofficial information about it, but I'm 99% sure these people are hired by the club. They are paid by the club, like, like students or whatever, because everything is really organized. At a certain moment, I believe it was the 14th minute, there is absolutely nothing that is happening on the field. So there is not a shot, not a goal, nothing. And they start throwing away, but all at the same time, like confettis. Like, why? So you really see that they are a bit pushing that, let's try to bring something, which is a pity, because as a real supporter, you feel that it's a bit fake. But other than that, it's really something that I recommend everyone to go for the game. I wrote it in the title, glass half full or half empty. I will not reveal everything, because otherwise it will spoil everything. I will go with a too big monologue, but I would immediately go for the glass half empty. and not full. I see it more in a negative way, the performance that we did, also with the context, than in a positive way. I think that the people that watch the post-game video immediately from the stadium, that was really bad, but it's always like that when you go out of a stadium. But you will see my reaction. It's not the reaction of I'm happy that we lost 1-0. Will never be, but this is absolutely not the feeling that it gave to me. Let me say hello to the people before we start, because I already see some people queuing up, like Aman, like Bogdan, Andy Big Lips. We have like it is. Sir Raz is present. Davide, buongiorno, buonasera. UV, my great friend, is there as well. Who else is in the chat? Amer Itani 92. Allianz FC 2022. We even have a membership extension from Shutterstar. My therapy session started. It is first time I follow live instead of from Spotify. My car, bravo, grandissimo. And then we have immediately the first question. Let's go. Thank you, Sam. Really appreciate it, my friend. Who's saying? Much love. Starting to get worried about us not reaching fourth place. Tudor tactics are not clicking. He is too stubborn to accept the reality. David, Openda deteriorating, and Como, Atalanta, and others will fight for the fourth. We are like Parma post Parmalat. There is a lot of information. Who wants to go with that one?
I'll start. I think it's totally understandable and reasonable to be concerned about finishing fourth, despite only being 4 points back. I think the narrative that I've spun on this show was that we were at a crossroads, and I made my tipping point the Como game. You win Como, you show us what you can be, you show us cohesion and executing the game the right way, and then we could be on that path. Of course, we didn't. And so I think that we're sitting here still idealists and clueless on how to play and who to play. And that does not provide a foundation for confidence that we are going to grow throughout the season and reach that goal.
I just want to add quickly, my personal opinion is if we should stick with Tudor and the way things are going now, we won't even reach 10th place. I'm very serious. I'm sorry.
I was waiting
honestly,
for the. That's a huge one. Huh?
That is a huge one. But if you look at the numbers and the statistics, we're doing a lot worse than we did last season. Numbers at hand, which is not that big of a shock, to be honest. But what is a bit of a shock is, once again, that we've invested a lot of money into material, be it players, be it management, whatever. And there's still nothing that tells me that we can turn this around. And for me, that's shocking, because it's only the end of October. I think we had our first loss under Motta last year around somewhere in December, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Stuttgart was before.
In Serie A, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm focusing. I let the Champions League dream go already. Just focusing on Serie A here. But not just that, the way that we try to evolve, and yesterday was a bit of a reality check for me too, because if you lose against Como, which is not understandable, but you expect a team to come out bloodthirsty, especially against you're playing at Bernabeu, Champions League, and you have a team that grants you a lot of space. And we started well, but after the first 20 minutes, there was like nothing. It was sporadic individual moments, not a team that felt like they were a team. And to me, it's because we always keep saying we need a solution for this problem.
I see an arm behind you.
An arm? I don't know. It must be my wife. I hope. If not, it's burglars.
There was an arm.
It's burglars on my wife.
I don't know if she was bringing coffee or tea or something.
No, not yet. I think she was telling me to calm down. But there are so many issues here.
Reasonable.
I thought it was maybe Igor Tudor. He was pissed off.
Not yet, not yet. But there are so many things that are going wrong. There's not one simple solution to this problem, and this is what bothers me. There are so many things that need to be remedied, and I just don't know where to start or how to do it or where can we improve. And this is giving me a bit of that negative vibe. So, but
Mhm.
I'll let my invisible wife be invisible, and I'll give the word to Kevin to see what his opinion on it
Yeah,
is.
I think I agree with everything you both have said. I think for me, it comes down to three things that has me really concerned about fourth place. And I want to stay focused on what we have right in front of us and not talk about management or Elkin and Kamoli doing the right things, because that's a whole other conversation. But if we look at the players we have and the coach that we have and the season in front of us, I think the top three places more or less are locked. I think we're going to see Milan, Napoli, and Inter fighting for those top three places. And it's going to come down to us, a Roma that is showing nice signs under Gasparini, and we're going to be looking at Bologna and potentially even Como fighting until the end as a surprise. And we've got a lot of decent teams fighting for that fourth spot. So the competition is one issue. Second issue is the team still, after 9 games, 10 games, has no identity. We don't know who we are. What Del Piero said yesterday is that Tudor doesn't know what his best 11 is, which is sad at this point in the season for where we are, and we don't know how to approach a game. And it's you play against Milan, and we play the way Allegri does. We play against Dortmund and Inter, and it's fly high, like attacking, flying high. We come out against Como in a must-win match, and I don't think the players had a clue what they were doing for the first 15 or 20 minutes. And so the team, we don't know what the best 11 is, and there's no identity to start a match. And then my third issue is, once we start a match, I don't have confidence that Tudor knows how to read the match. And even if he does know how to read the match, what to do about it. I bet everybody in the chat right here yesterday was screaming for there to be a change for Kalulu in that game yesterday. But we know that there's obviously confidence issues with João Mario and his defensive side of the game, and him not being able to go out there and own the right wing against Vinny coming from the attacking side. But there was no other options. Every time Kalulu got the ball in the offensive third, pissed the ball away, was too slow, was 2 steps behind what he should have been doing. He did decently defensively, but moving forward, he was gassed. He had no energy left 60 minutes into the game, and there wasn't a clue what to do. And it's one example, but you go back through a lot of other matches, the subs are coming on too late, or just not knowing how to adapt in the right way. And I think, was it Sam? Fourth place. It scares me at this point.
So to answer the question, Kevin and Frederic, are you glass half full or half empty about this team? Just to put it on record.
Completely
With what we have
empty.
right now, half empty. With where
Not
we are
even
right
half
now.
empty. Completely empty.
Because
Because
go ahead.
I'm sorry. There was another thing that scared me a bit because I'm a very emotional guy, and we did our podcast yesterday right
You?
after. Yeah, shocker, I know. But I took some time to sit back, and then this morning I woke up and I had some time to read some of online reviews or whatever, or day after thoughts. And if I didn't know the score, didn't watch the game, I would have sworn we were winning 0-4 at Bernabeu. I see people hashtagging Atesta Alta. We went down with honor and things like that. No, who gave you that idea? We didn't. We absolutely did not. And it's so frustrating to see that a lot of people are embracing this mediocrity. I mean, if you're a team like, I don't know, Torino, Chievo, and you play a bigger team and you just lose 1-0, then it's like, okay, it's not a bad result. I mean, we're Chievo, we're Udinese, we're Juventus. Where does this a testa alta come from? I don't understand. I'm very baffled. So we're getting used to being mediocre, and once we as a fan base start getting used to that and embrace that, then the end is definitely near, in my opinion. So yeah.
At the same time, the team that we have is the team that we have. We can't convert magically everybody into world beaters, and you cannot convert Tudor into Klopp or Pep or Ancelotti. So I guess my question to you is, given who we have on the bench and who we have on the team, what percentage of the blame, or do you put more of the blame for our current performance and our current run of form on the players, or do you put more of that on Tudor?
Wait, let's park that one for a second because I want to also to give my opinion about the reaction of fans. Some were pissed off. Some were like, okay, 1-0. We lost only 1-0. We played an honorable game. Look, already at half time, my first comment was like, okay, we did well for 10, 15 minutes, and then it was starting to be extremely difficult. Uh, it was really difficult also in the second half, where never I really believed that we would have come back, except of course in the end where you have like two big chances, but it would not have been because of the performances, but because of the moment. Because it's always like that, and when you're losing 1-0 in the last minutes, you are trying. So when I started reading all these comments, the first thing that I did was, of course, going on the internet, and the first thing that I do is going and looking at the momentum. It doesn't say everything, but says a lot. And when I see, ragazzi, this, where green is Real Madrid, blue is Juve, I said, okay, I was maybe not wrong when I said, the first 10, 15 minutes Juventus played, and then it was totally over. So no, I'm absolutely not in the mood of saying Juventus did well. It's only 1-0 because no, first of all, a loss is a loss. Then if I want to play devil's advocate, I want to tell you a lot of people were expecting us to lose 4-0, 5-0, to be totally destroyed, to be totally humiliated, like Napoli. Don't forget about Napoli, like Napoli was by PSV, especially after the performance of Como. And where you see a team that, it's true, offensively we played for 15 minutes trying something, then we try to play as a team in not conceding and trying to help each other. I can understand where it comes from. Like, okay, there was an honorable performance because we were not expecting it. We were expecting a huge, big collapse. So I can understand where it comes from. I don't think that people are happy or accepting mediocrity, but I believe it was that much influence on social media, like we will be totally destroyed. I don't agree with that comment, but I can understand where it comes from. On the other side, and that's where I told you glass half empty for me as well, is because I saw a team that wanted to do the best that they could. I saw a team that was trying to play with each other, to help each other. I saw, and maybe you didn't see that at home, but every single time that someone was putting that ball in corner kick or deflecting or avoiding a goal, I really saw team spirit in motivating each other. One time it was Gatti for Di Gregorio, one time it was Di Gregorio for another player. So they were really supportive. But then, and that's how I reacted when I went out of the stadium, I said, if this is the very best that we can offer, and the very best against the Real Madrid without defense, because they were shaky in defense, without defense, that was not the Real Madrid at the top of their form.
No.
If this is what team spirit is bringing us, if this is the ideas that we put on the table, if this is everything that we have inside of us because we were playing as Real Madrid, then I'm extremely scared that the season will be extremely long for us Juventini. Because yesterday, I can promise you that I saw them giving 200%, all of them. But 200% gives us what I showed you here on screen, gives us this, and this is not enough. this is absolutely not enough. Then I am aware that the team is far from perfect, that we have no Bremer, that we have some injuries, that the players didn't integrate yet, some, especially the new signings. But this is not okay. And it's not about accepting that we will finish this, or that we are happy to lose only 1-0 against Real Madrid. But this was the best that we could offer, and to me that's annoying, not that much for the game of Real Madrid. It's annoying because in the long term, and I'm speaking about this season, if we start, especially with players saying, okay, we did well against Real Madrid and we lost 1-0, then we are in total contradiction with the words that I heard from Alessio Tacchinardi.
Yeah, but I think you make a good point, Beppe, in that you saw the effort there, but a lot of the issue is that the game plan that we were trying to execute, giving 200%, didn't have the right people on the pitch to execute it. So you come in with the right attitude, you give 200%, but then you put Coop in the locust position, and Coop doesn't attempt a forward pass all game. You then put Vlahovic instead of Openda, and the three of us agreed that this was like the Openda game if there was one all season. Didn't see him till the 70-something minute. So it's like with Tudor, and this is kind of what I was getting at before, is, in my mind, I put more of it on Tudor because you have the right game plan, the right mentality, but you pick the wrong starting 11 and make the wrong subs at the wrong time.
I don't agree with you, Zach. I don't agree with you on that. Because yesterday the idea was not to play a 3-5-2, but it was to play a 5-3-1-1. We have a Yildiz that didn't play his best game, and he starts well, and you see that from a certain moment he goes really far on the left, where he start to be a bit a ghost there, and that's where Juventus doesn't play anymore offensively, because we couldn't find him. Could be maybe that Real Madrid found a way after 10-15 minutes to totally block him. Could be. But when from the moment that he's totally isolated from the game, we don't play anymore offensively. But you cannot play with Joao Mario there. You cannot play. You can simply not play because you wanted to play a 5-3-2. Then Kalulu in that position, I said it, he was the worst of the game. He did one of the worst game with our shirt. It's not his position, something that we are debating since long, but that's what we have. We are speaking about it since long. On Calcio Mercato, we didn't go for another player on that side of the field. So you can choose, or you put him, or you put Joao Mario. Joao Mario is not ready for a game like that in the way that we wanted to play yesterday. So I totally understand it. Then Vlahovic, to me, and I'm not the biggest fan of Vlahovic, you know that, but from what I saw on the field, I said, I can understand that Tudor chose him, and actually he did much better than when Openda entered.
His work effort was good yesterday.
Yeah. Really. From the beginning, but also in the warm-ups. Also in the warm-ups already, I saw him extremely concentrating and doing well. I understand that he has been chosen over Jonathan David and Openda. Then in the midfield, we can speak about it, but I want also to underline, and then I stop speaking, that Locatelli is doing what he did. I prefer Locatelli over Koopmeiners. That being said, but he's doing what he's doing because we are speaking about the last 15 minutes. From the beginning of the game, I'm not sure if would have had the opportunity to have that freedom that he had. It's also a moment of the game that you analyze. I don't think that Locatelli from the start would have played with the way that we were playing, losing 1-0 if we started. I can be wrong.
I also feel that it's natural that we're focusing on Real Madrid, but if we would have had our fixture list in August and you would have seen that we played Real after Como, I don't think realistically any Juve fan would have predicted a win. Sure, you hope for it, but you don't look at our fixture list and say, oh, the Real Madrid game in Bernabeu will definitely win that. No, I agree with that. We don't have the team. It's the other matches that frustrate me. And this was, for me, an opportunity to break the cycle because the pressure was off in a sense that nobody would have batted an eye if we would have lost 3-0 or whatever. So the pressure was alleviated from the team. everybody was free to play. We were given a lot of freedom by Real Madrid, I think, especially in the second half. So all the material was there not to win per se, but at least draw or get a goal back. We failed on all three of those occasions. So the question that uh, comes up in my mind is, what are we going to do as a team when we play maybe a lesser opponent quality wise, but more pressure? Because you could tell that the pressure is crippling the players. I see a lot of hate on Openda for that missed chance, and granted it was a very, very big chance. But you need to look at the specifics. He doesn't get any playing time. When he gets playing time, everybody's eyes are on him because he will cost us a lot of money. He doesn't have any, um, how shall I put it, confidence left, and that's why he misses the chance. Because an Openda in form and mentally in place would have took that shot after the pass at one touch. Now he stopped it
Yeah.
because he was very scared to miss. And this is something that is very annoying to see, that you have players who you're counting on, who you pay money for, but they're crippled by anxiety and fear of missing, meaning that the pressure, even in a non-pressure game, is too much. And for that, I blame Tudor, because he's the one who needs to take that away. He's the one that needs to mold, like Del Piero said, a basic starting 11, build everybody around that, and make everybody aware about their specific tasks in a game or wherever. And that's where we are failing right now.
But are we not? Because Del Piero, yeah, great. He spoke. He goes with we don't have identity. He needs to choose his starting 11. Okay, I understand that. Del Piero, he says the magic words that are always bringing all the fans with him. But I don't agree with what Del Piero said about the identity. Yeah, of course. But speaking about the starting, we have the same men that are always playing. We are playing with Locatelli, Thuram. We are playing with Gatti, Kelly. It should be Bremer. Now it's Rugani. We are playing with Yildiz that is playing every single game. If Conceição is available, Conceição is playing. If he's injured, he doesn't play. And the only one that are really switching is up front. Then Kalulu is playing every single game. Nobody agrees that he needs to play there, but at least he's playing there. So it's easy for Del Piero, and I criticize his word because he has no idea what he's speaking about. He's going with he changed every single game. He doesn't have his starting 11. The starting 11 is there. Then is it the correct one? That's another question. But then can he do really something about changing his starting 11 except of one player or not? Yeah, you can say no Vlahovic. Okay, great, no Vlahovic. Who's plays? Jonathan David is doing bad. We play Openda is doing bad. So Cambiaso is now starting to play every single game there on the left. I believe that 9 on 11 are chosen. Then we agree or we don't agree. How many times did we criticize? He needs to change, going with four players. On the identity thing, I can relate, yeah, because if we adapt against Como, if we adapt against Real Madrid, if we adapt against Atalanta, I understand that you don't show identity. About the starting 11, I don't agree personally. Yeah.
It's curious. You were showing the momentum graph for that game. I bet if you went and found the Manchester City match from last season, it would look absolutely identical to this, with us with like 30% possession, less than half the amount of passes, but we were clinical in that match. It's a game of inches and centimeters, right? Vlahovic scores that goal. Openda takes his shot. It was a winnable match with some of the chances we have now. Real Madrid was also very wasteful, and they had plenty of chances too. But if we don't score those goals last year, we're talking about a total terrible match and a terrible performance, because the metrics and stats very similar, but we were more clinical when we had the opportunity.
Look, guys, we are in a moment where the result counts, and the assist that you are making, Kevin, is perfect. If we score the 2 goals with Vlahovic, with Openda or Jonathan David or whatever, we are speaking about something totally different today here. At least the majority would speak about something totally different, because last year we had problems against City, and we won that game 2-0. Also there because of huge big saves of Di Gregorio, because the game could have gone really wrong. But on the other side, uh, I forgot what I wanted to say. No, I no. Allegri had an identity, and we all complained because at the end, it's the results that counts.
Mhm.
The results are counting. Yesterday we lose 1-0. We are pissed off. We win 2-1. Probably it would not have been the same.
Also, timing wise, it doesn't help us if you look at our decline over the last couple of games. It's not just only the quality of play, it's the lack of pulling a game towards us and taking advantage of the weaknesses of the opponent. Because this is in every team sport, that should be the very foundation of one team tries to exploit the weaknesses of the other. We failed to do that because A, we have no identity, but B, we don't know how to start doing that. And it starts for me personally on the training pitch with the coach, but also on the field. I expect players at a certain level to show some sign of footballing intelligence. And I really miss that because it's not about doing fancy things and attacking football and tiki taka. Sometimes it's also the nice, simple things. A player runs towards a point where there's a lot of space. The other capable player sees that, knows what run he's going to make, plays it into space, and the other player is away. It was the same with Yildiz pass to Vlahovic yesterday.
Yeah.
That's something you can train on, agreed, but that's also something
But I didn't.
that,
He stopped. He was in front of me. He was there. He stopped running. I don't know why. I
yeah,
don't know why.
that's also partially footballing intelligence and partially confidence. And in every aspect, we lack something. So there is nothing we can tell now or we can say now that says, okay, we're on the right path because this particular criteria is something we're well at. We need to exploit that. It's always, counting up the pluses and the minuses. And we have so many minuses right now around the whole Juventus aura that it's very difficult to come out of that ditch, I'm afraid.
And I hate being this negative. This isn't me. Like like Zach. How long
I
last year
love
did
it.
you and I both hold on to Malta and supporting and just like have faith, have some patience. We're seeing some signs, and it took me longer than most, I think, to agree that moving on from him was in the best interest of the club and the team to finish in fourth. This is I mean, for all of us and everyone in the chat, right? Like this is something we choose to do. We choose to be a fan. We choose to embrace sport. We choose to make it a meaningful part of our lives, and to have it add like stress more often than not these days. It's a curious thing.
So, I mean, actually, to go back to the earlier question of mine, because I think it's fascinating to me. It sounds, I asked, do you put more of the blame on the players or Tudor? It sounds like Beppe, you seem to say more so on the players because you say it's the same crop of guys who are falling short. Or did I misinterpret your answer?
It depends what you want me to answer. Do you want me to answer about Real Madrid or the entire season? Because
I would say the entire season, sort of this bad. We've been on a bad run of form.
The entire season, you have a coach. The coach is in charge. I criticized Igor because of the fact that one of the good things that he was able to do was that will of fighting, that green tower, not fearing. Let's say not fear the consequences. You might even have lost a few games, but at least you would go for it. And when that is gone, and you see no real huge big tactical improvement, and if this is also gone, then ragazzi, it's on the coach. Look, I support Juve. I love Tudor as a person because I've lived these seasons with Tudor. I think that Kevin as well. But you are attached to a player. I also am extremely grateful for someone that has a dream and is ready in a really difficult moment to come and to help. And I said last year, 9 games. He can even lose the 9 games in a row. I will defend him. I don't care. But I also said from the moment that he becomes our real coach, so not a caretaker anymore, but a real coach, he will be judged about what he's showing us. And at the moment, I'm not happy. Not happy with the performances, and especially even more with the pre and post press conferences of Theodor at the moment. Looks like he really lost the situation. It's annoying. I want to add one thing on yesterday. I want to blame more the players than Tudor, because I think that he prepared the game well for the players that we had in that Real Madrid game. Uh, if he would have been the coach in 94, 95, 96, I would have told you, no, this is absolutely not the coach for you. But he understood how to play against Real. And he got the most of out of the players. Unfortunately, we are in front of the goal with Cambiaso, Gatti, McKennie that are taking their chances. I don't think it's a coincidence. So I think that he also worked in how to position them to get to that moment. But then you see that we don't score. We don't score with big misses. Vlahovic opened that Jonathan David. It's a lot of misses, and we are accumulating them also because it's the third game in a row that we are not scoring. Milan, Como, Real Madrid is the third game without scoring. That's a problem. I believe because it's a bit annoying because I think that Max doesn't understand what I said. I said if you are speaking about the season, I'm blaming Tudor. If you are speaking about the game of yesterday, I blame more the players than the coach. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know.
No,
I mean, I'm
it's absolutely true. Tudor's not out there missing chances, and so I fully agree. I do think though, and I believe this, and I know we disagree on this, Beppe, but I do firmly believe that he picked the wrong 11 yesterday. I think it was in conflict with itself, despite the level of discipline that they showed on the
Who would
pitch.
you have changed, Zach? I'm really curious. to
Yeah,
understand.
so I would have changed my background. You can't see my fingers. I would have changed Locatelli and Vlahovic. I think those two
Cool.
made absolutely no sense against exactly how we knew Real Madrid was going to play and how we all anticipated we would play against them in a deep, organized. It was sort of a 5-4-1 in defense. And Coop, I think, attempted one forward pass the entire game.
so you would have done Locatelli for Coop Miners and
Oh, yeah.
Openda for Vlahovic.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I think that while Vlahovic did play well yesterday, I think that's only a retroactive analysis. Nothing about his play this season, especially from the start of games, makes you encouraging to start him in this position, especially against a back line of two 22-year-olds, a center midfielder, and an aging, albeit good center back. We know Openda's fast. We know they're going to be deep set. You give Locatelli in there who can tackle and dish a long ball to a forward who can run into space. That's very obvious to me.
I don't know.
I
If
I
it's
agree.
enough I don't know
I
if it's
I
enough to beat the Real that I saw yesterday. Honestly,
Well, I don't know
I
if we'd beat them, Beppe, but I think it would have been better.
I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I believe you. Of course, everyone is up here. I don't know. I don't know about that because we can speak about Locatelli, Cope. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if Openda would have played better than Vlahovic. Really don't know. I really don't know. I really doubt it. I don't know.
wha-
Maybe you're right.
I feel the issue is also that we're not playing with two strikers. I feel that's a big issue because our strikers are often very isolated. Like we complain about Vlahovic missing that 1 versus 1 against one of the best goalkeepers in the world still, my opinion. But he pulls out a sprint of 40, 50 meters prior to that. So I'm not too harsh on him for missing that one. On the other hand, it always baffles me as to why our strikers are so isolated. And we can blame it on the midfield because with the two-man midfield, it's very difficult to give some backup. And I agree with that. On the other hand, if you play with two strikers, it alleviates the pressure a bit more, I think. And there is the part where I blame Tudor partially because you have enough strikers. Last year we had the excuse of only having one striker. We have a lot of those now. Make it work. I mean, at the time when Capello was our coach, we had Ibra, Trezeguet, Mutu, Del Piero, and Capello said from the start, "I'm playing with two men up front, and my starting strikers are Ibra Trezeguet from the get-go. He got results with that because
Oh,
Capello is also somebody, well, results better than the ones that
it,
we have now.
yeah, yeah, of course. If there was
Better
another
than the
team, no,
ones.
but I would always blame Capello for what he did in Champions League. But with the team
Yeah,
that we had, we needed to win the Champions League with
eyes
like
closed.
without our
Yeah,
eyes, without watching.
yeah. But it
It's
just goes
tough.
to show. I think playing in 2025 with only one striker, being a team that is or was highly thought of, I think that's suicide, especially when you play with a two-man midfield pivot.
Yesterday, you
For
know what he wanted to do? Yesterday, he wanted to play 5-3-2 or 5-3-1-1. And for the first 15 minutes, that's what we see. We see a 5-3-1-1. With Real Madrid is a bit surprised. We move up with Kalulu, Cambiaso, and that 5-3-1-1 becomes a real a 3-5-1-1 with Yildiz in the center. From the moment that they start, because guys, I saw them yesterday. They were there at a few meters of me. The qualities of these players. Arda Güler yesterday. Arda Güler. But even the guy, I never heard about him. This guy, he looks like 35, like 40. Carreras. I never heard about that guy. What a game that he did yesterday. What a game. Yesterday, they were there. They started. Boom, 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 boom. What we did was going back, back. And that's the moment where Yildiz is not anymore playing next to Vlahovic. He's starting to go and support there on the left side, isolating himself. And then we are indeed starting with a totally isolated striker. The only goal that we could have gone in that first half after the big momentum is on that counter attack of Dusan, or in the second half, I mean. That's it. But that's what happened, huh? A 3-5-2 where go score. If not, well, we become a 5-3-1-1. Yeah,
but
I'm
like
pissed
you
off.
said,
Huh? I'm really
no,
pissed.
no, no. I'm pissed off too because, like you said,
Not with
we
you,
gave.
guys. With the fact we don't win since 7 games. The last time was with Ranieri. That's the stat that I read. This is not acceptable, guys.
But
I'm
that's
really not happy.
that's that's
Really
that's
not
the
happy.
issue, right? You talk about blaming
Yeah,
players
I will tell you now.
or
It's a really unpopular. It's a really unpopular thing. You know what? I'm blaming this team that I love from the bottom of my heart. I will support them, but I need to say it. They took me the way the excitement of a Real
Yeah,
Madrid Juve before the game.
yeah.
I should have had that feeling when I went to the escalator, the lift from my room to the reception, with that feeling of I want. I didn't have it. I didn't have it. And this
Nope.
comes from Como, this comes from Verona, this comes from Atalanta, this comes from this comes from that game. And this comes also from Thiago Motta, from Giuntoli, from before. They took away my excitement pre-game for Real Madrid Juve. They gave me again that 15 minutes of did I get the message? Maybe it's an isolated one because it's Real Madrid and we want to do well, but then 15 minutes and it was gone. And this is something that I really blame them for that. They took away that excitement pre-game of Real Madrid. That doesn't mean that they took Juventinita from me or that I love them less, but it's something that I really wanted to say because it annoyed me a lot yesterday. Sorry, guys.
Also, no, no, no. You're absolutely right. I have the same feeling, and even worse, every team we play against, I'm not gonna say I fear, but I get this weird vibe when they get a corner kick. Is it Real Madrid? Is it Como? Is it Villarreal? I don't know. Every time a team, no matter what league they play in, no matter what how good they are on paper, every time they come up, they attack, they get a corner kick. I already feel I already feel like something's going to happen in a negative sense. Ma porco Dio, as a Juventus fan, how is it
No,
possible? Sorry, sorry. How is it possible that we have to be afraid of everything, of every single team, every attacking movement they make? That's unacceptable. Somebody needs to stand up and say, okay, I can understand losing against Real Madrid. I can understand having a bad momentum, losing a couple of games, maybe drawing. Fine with that, such as football. But if you have to be weary of Udinese having a free kick, if you have to be weary about playing a very, very shallow team that is AC Milan at this point, and fear for the outcome, I mean, then what are we doing? Then we are by all definitions a low league team. In all honesty,
Well, and then I think what complicates the feelings we're all having, right? We're talking about, again, what's in front of us with the players and Tudor. And at the end of the day, aside from the transfer market, we have the players we have. So you have to figure out like what can you change? The coach is something you can change, right? To bring ideas, to motivate. There's always usually a spark that comes when there's that effect when somebody new comes in. But you're seeing the comments here. You're looking on Instagram, you're reading, you're seeing more and more Juventini wake up to the fact that changing coaches isn't going to get us out of this cycle. Doesn't matter if we have whoever is on the short list right now. We know that so much of this just comes down to the management and the structure of the organization from the top down, starting with Elkan. And even if we were to bring in a better coach that could light things up with these players, we still know we have a squad that's not built in the right way. We still have a sporting organization that doesn't have a clear project or a vision or a strategy or the set of people there that are supposed to be executing. So even if we get on a nice run of games that gives us something to smile about, I think what is actually troubling about the situation is we still know that behind the facade of whatever performance we have an organization that's not built to win. That everybody's not aligned. And what guys, some of us were talking about in our WhatsApp group yesterday, Elkan is the billionaire business leader of Exor, and anybody that is in a position like that in the business world should see the necessity to have a strategy and vision established for an organization with the right structure, with the right leaders that can implement a plan.
Can I challenge that, Kevin?
Sure, please.
I think it's done, but I have criticized massively the non-complete mercato of this season. I didn't like the mercato since day one. I always said it, but I said I will not blame Comoli for that because the guy just entered. We had other priorities that were the sporting structure that has been set. Now it's not even complete yet because we are still missing a sporting director. But I really believe that this has been done from John Elkann in taking the decision to stop with Giuntoli because it was not working and going for a new, not person, new structure. But that structure will not deliver immediately. I think last week we were speaking about it with Zach and Fred. We said before we understand, and you know it better than us, Kevin, you're working with world companies. You know that from the moment that you are starting to think about an idea, before you start really seeing that it's effective, it needs time. For a coach can change immediately because you have 2 games a week. You see a player, if he decides to go with his right foot or his left foot because it's weak or strong foot, you see the result immediately if he decides to run or not. But for management strategies, from the moment that we will really be able to say it worked or it didn't work, you need at least a 2 cycle of seasons.
I agree with that, and maybe what we're starting with here with Comoli and the new board that is coming together, maybe this starts to put us on a better path. However, we're still 5 years into a non-winning cycle.
Oh, no,
where we've misstarted on, and he's been in charge here, and we've misfired so many times, and it's anno zero for like the 3rd year in a row. And I still think coming into the season, despite the conviction to move on from Motta, to move on from Giuntoli and start with Comoli, with somebody who he believes in, it's still incredibly slow. Right. It's still incredibly slow to get the other pieces in place. And if you know coming in what needs to be fixed in the squad, everybody here knows that we needed more in the defense and the center back. And you're telling me there's not a single center back in all of world football that we couldn't find that could fit our squad at a reasonable price, and we buy
I
16
cannot I
strikers?
I cannot go in and answer you about the mercato because I agree with you. So I totally share that vision because I think here every single time I said it, I repeated it that the mercato that we did, I think we had other opportunities. With all the respect for Openda that I really like, but we said it on the strategy of management. I don't agree, especially because we have a community that is entering, and he said it clearly without problem. He said we have a financial fair play problem this year. It will even be worse next year. We started the mercato with a deficit of 100, how much,
That
117
was
million
huge.
euros
Yeah.
Almost
of what we
200
had to pay.
almost.
I always said that I prefer him to stand firm and do mistakes on the mercato the first year. I prefer that 100%, but at least putting again some rules like he did. We don't sell if it's not at our condition, then we keep the players. Dusan Vlahovic is here. He's a problem not only financially, but also in the way that we are choosing players. Maybe if Dusan would have left like 1 month earlier, or maybe today Colomoni would have been there, maybe no Openda. We don't know. Nico Gonzalez goes away the last day of the mercato, and guys, and Douglas Ruiz as well. At the end, he doesn't go on a permanent deal, but he goes on on a loan. Let's see if he will play or not, and then we will understand it. So on mercato, I cannot judge today Comoli, even if I think there were other priorities. But the strategy of Mercato, because I read some comments and I want to go because I see a lot of people that wrote questions, but nothing will be fixed until Andrea Agnelli is back. I'm the biggest fan of Andrea, but he will not come back today. So it makes no sense to even mention it, right? But then Agnelli did great things, did mistakes at today, and I say it against my personal ideas. I think that Andrea Agnelli today coming back to Juve would bring more problems than a solution, and that's also probably why he doesn't come back today. The relationship with UEFA is a total disaster, guys. Don't forget about that. Are still today. So imagine with Andrea Agnelli. Forget about Europe. I see Sadera saying Juventus probably is much bigger than Tudor, and I agree, and
Yeah.
we answer that, Kevin as well. We have a question from Sam. Comment says, "Thank you, guys," and I will let you speak today. I'm pissed off. Sorry. Sam is saying that is the problem with Tudor. He's not experienced to get the best out of the players. Come on, we are not worse than Atalanta or Como, for example. He cannot adapt well in game, and he sacrifices results for what he thinks is performance.
Well, Zach, I mean, this is
I agree.
something that you've hit on both here in other episodes and then also on our Turin Giants podcast. That it's just look at the track record he's experienced in terms of number of years that he's been a manager, but in terms of being able to endure with the team, aside from being able to come in with like his fervor and passion and being able to like extract that out of players to turn something around. But over the course of the season, where you talk about things like identity, reading games, overcoming challenges, that is exposed. I mean, we have been talking about challenges with this squad and players making mistakes, but there is enough talent in this team to be fighting for top four. There is enough talent on this team.
Not to be fighting for, but to be getting top four.
Yes.
And so, like, look, I'm not I'll ask this question about Tudor, but I want it to be understood that I'm recognizing that there are weaknesses on our squad with the individuals and with the depth. There's an incomplete assembly of our management structure that hasn't had enough time to put in their influence. Okay, so I'm not just singling out Tudor. There's weaknesses all around. But when it comes to a coach and you say you can change the coach, but it's really, you can't change the players and you can't change the management. When it comes down to a coach, there's only one question that matters. Does he make the team greater than the sum of its parts? And I would be hard pressed for any of you to tell me that Tudor is making this team better than the sum of its parts, because we don't see identity. We don't see combination play that is translating from training sessions. And lately, we aren't even seeing the grinta that helped rescue the games against Inter and Dortmund. And so when you talk about a coach, Then you say, okay, if that is true, and I want to know if you guys agree or disagree, then the question is can you regain that? Can you get back on the right track? Which is a scary question as you stare down the look of the run of form we have against a very, very competent Lazio game away.
It bears to also raise the fact that Tudor has lost a part of the dressing room. There are a lot of tensions between several players and Tudor. So to answer your question, with that in regards, there is no coming back. There is no coming back for Tudor.
Yeah, but
Now you
Maybe
say he's
at,
lost the dressing room. I
at a
know.
certain moment, basta. Putain, it's every single time, every season, and it's one time it's Locatelli that is not happy, and one time it's this one that is not happy, and one time it's this one that is not happy. Mamma mia! I spoke with Tacchinardi yesterday. What does that mean? I'm not happy with the coach. What does that even mean? I lost the locker room, not the locker room. Your job is to play football. Basta. The coach makes decisions. Sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't like them. Of course, you can speak with it. You know that at a certain moment he explains me a story. Christian Vieri playing for Juve at a certain moment. Marcello Lippi is taking him here, putting him against the wall. It's Tacchinardi that needs to divide them. It went that far in the locker room. In the evening, they were at the restaurant together.
yeah.
Lippi and Vieri speaking with each other. The next day at training session,
But
everything was
but
gone.
that's precisely my point because you don't have that group feeling. It's very easy to use your own defects or your own delusions against something because,
Yeah, but they
as
need
you
to
said,
mature a bit. They need a bit of, also that is leadership. And Conceição last season, and a message on
Yeah.
Instagram, and Perin a message on Instagram.
Effing
Locatelli.
social
What does that
media.
mean? That message
yeah,
It's
of Locatelli. Does that mean I'm the captain? Whatever happens, I want to play, and I'm not happy with the coach. Does that mean I am the captain even on the bench? We don't know. We don't know. It can be million of but was there a need of doing that? That makes totally no sense in a moment before the game of Real Madrid. It makes totally no sense. But that thing, what you are saying, of there are breaks in the locker room, and it has to stop because it starts with that. It starts
that's what
with
I mean.
that.
That's what I mean. And that's why I say it's very difficult to come back from that because once you let that happen as management, as players themselves, because I feel at certain times players need to be more self-aware about the things that they say or do because they have consequences every time. Everything you say, you do has a consequence because it's getting blown up either out of proportion or maybe just something that is there and it's highlighted, but that's irrelevant. So the responsibility is always shifted. And this is something that we need to stop doing. The responsibility is there. The responsibility is partially of the coach. The responsibility is partially of management, partially of the players. But we need to stop by thinking that we can, like I said last week, one week we pull out some cogwheel in the machine, we replace it with another, and hope the machine will even work better than it did before we changed the parts. But that's not how it works. So we need to ask ourselves at this point, in this point of time, given the players that we have now, given the management that we have now, should we fire Tudor even tonight and bring in whoever? I don't even care anymore. Will that make the team perform better? And why? Because that's a question nobody knows. It's another guess. We talk about, I hear the name of Palladino left and right. Fine, bring me Palladino, whoever you want, but I want guarantees that he gets 110% out of this group if we
If
do that.
Paladino comes, it is just for one thing because you have another name in mind for July.
Of course. But
So how will he be backed up? He will not be backed up.
no. So we have the same issue for X number of months again until maybe Komoli has his vision straightened out and says, I want to work with this coach because he'll give me X, Y, and Z in terms of what I expect. So no matter how you look at it, this is a painful season. I think we have to withstand this painful season. There is no easy fix to get everything clicking and working and whatever. So we need to be very self-aware of the fact that it's going to be a long season, and we need to give Komoli time, like Zach and I also said on our podcast, to create something, because it's not going to happen overnight. But there is no quick fix, in my opinion.
Agree.
Yeah, it's. I think we're all. Oh, the wind's a little bit knocked out of our sails, folks, about this.
Anyway, Tudor, or he resigns.
Mhm.
After
Which is totally on
Lazio.
brand for him. And you've talked about that, Beppe, right? And when he's not happy, he says, "I'm out."
But or he resigns, or we don't dismiss the coach before the next international break. So for people, I
Cremonese.
think, it should be Torino, I think.
When is is
November
Cremonese
8th.
before
November
Torino?
8th. Yeah,
And when
Torino,
is
November 8th,
Cremonese?
and then there's the break.
And when's Cremonese? Or is Cremonese not even? I thought it was November 2nd or something. Am I right or wrong?
No, wait, maybe. Wait, let me check. I will tell you. So Lazio, Udinese, Cremonese, Sporting, and then Torino, and then it's international break. I don't think, because now we play. Look, we play on Sunday. We play midweek against Udinese immediately. We play 2 days later, again 3 days later against Cremonese. Then we have Champions League against Sporting, and then you have Derby. I believe that's the deadline to see something. So
Yeah, the run of games is too thick and fast, I think, to fire a coach unless something explodes.
do we want to do the round about who you really don't want as the next coach? One name, huh? One name. Like
But a
the horror.
realistic name, or
Yeah, of course, of course. Don't want, not what you want, what you don't want. One name you really absolutely don't want.
Mancini.
Now, of course,
right.
if you
Get
tell me
out
Conte,
of
it's
the
not
way.
possible. He's on the bench of Napoli, not for long, but
Mancini. Before one of you guys took it.
Yeah,
Mancini.
I'll say Spalletti because of the issues that were persistent with our captain with the national team. I think that's a terrible dynamic.
for Locatelli, better stop posting on Instagram, because if Spalletti
Oh,
comes,
all the
it's
players should have
over.
their phones taken away until June.
Yeah.
I find it there is, from what we can read in media, there is not one coach where I think, this might be a good fit. So for me, for now, all of them are not something that I expect. I definitely know Mancini because of well-known reasons, I think.
Not
Um,
everyone knows them, because sometimes I read some young generation Juventini, they have absolutely no idea. But
let's just say, do your homework. He played a big part in Calciopoli, or at least not a big part, but he was very good to give out comments and pointing fingers. Let's leave it at that. But I really feel that it needs to be clear what we want to do. We want to get Palladino in until summer. Fine. Get Palladino, get, I don't know, this half bottle of water here. I don't care. But tell me what the plan is after that, after this season. Who is going to come and with what vision? And I don't expect Komoli to come out and say, okay, we're going to bring out coach X and we want player X, Y, and Z, and we're going to spend. I just want to know, where are we going? What is the vision? What is the thing that you set up? And if you
give
need
me
this season,
your answer is Mancini, right?
Beppe, Frederic
Yeah.
told me that he just really wants Malta to come back. He's under contract. But
Malta
Frederic's
coming
like,
back.
bring him back.
Yeah. Yeah.
tanto, we're paying him. I mean, but that's another thing. If we get rid of Tudor, we're paying 3 coaches simultaneously.
Also,
Uh,
yeah.
Imagine John Alcon walking into a big meeting, people saying, "Oh, so you're the owner of Juventus? Ah, you're the guy who pays 3 coaches at once and not get results in." I mean, we're losing face all over the place. Give me somebody who is driven and who wants to get the best out of a team and is willing to be flexible. If you have
Give
a
me
team fit,
Emad O2C's suggestion. I love what Italiano's doing. Everything he touches, I think, turns to gold in context of what he's been given.
Beppe doesn't look convinced.
me neither. I like him,
I think
but
he's a late bloomer as a coach, but I don't know. I like Italiano. I think he's underrated.
Yeah, but if you don't like stubborn coaches, then you will have a problem with Italiano. I think he's even more stubborn than Tudor and Thiago Motta put together. He's really stubborn. He's not learning. Look at his high defense line, and he's doing it since his time in Serie C. Guys, that's the reality, and I like him. I like him, and I believe he would do even what he's a big Juventino. Italiano is a big Juventino. On top of that, he knows Serie A. He has great ideas of football. He's doing well, but I believe that at Juve, my friends, it's a different level, and I'm not sure if we are ready for if we are ready to take that risk. But I would not be. It will not be a no for me. I like him as well, but pay
the thing
attention
is,
what you ask for.
there is no certified winning coach anymore. Like I heard people say, okay, let's talk with Klopp because blah blah blah. It's unrealistic, I know. But even if Klopp would say, okay, I'm coming to Juventus, I accept this challenge, he would at least bring in or would need to bring in 5, 6 players. So you're
Yeah,
looking at a price tag transfer fee only of in and around 150 million. And then
more.
even more. And then it took Klopp some time to become a winning coach at Liverpool as well. It didn't happen overnight. So what
Same
are we
with
going to do? That we hire Klopp, we spend 200 million on players and wages. We pay Klopp 20 million a year, and then after what 3/4 of a season, we say it's not working out.
One notable difference is though is you get a guy like you get a coach in with a notable profile. Us as a fan base will have more grace, right? We'll understand that he's proven and that and so you'll give him more time. You get in Malta, you bring in Palladino, Juventino, who is same age, not as experienced. You're not going to give him his time. We're not giving Tudor as much time. That's just the nature of the profile. Okay, so if you go Marco Rosa or you go who's 50, okay, he's been around the game a long time, you might give him more grace because you know that he's can build something as he has with the Red Bull family versus an Italiano who's or Palladino, excuse me, who's only coached for what?
Yeah,
3
Postacoglu's
years?
available. He always wins in his second year.
Oh God.
Sorry, couldn't help it.
No.
Just don't get
what's
me-
your least favorite so that we are rounding up, because then I have a last question from Jackie, but I wanted your take. Least favorite coach to come now immediately. Zach, you already
Well,
answered.
me,
You
I
said
went
Mancini.
first. I went first. I said Mancini.
Yeah, and Spalletti for me.
And then then
Oh, you
Spalletti.
said Mancini already.
Yeah,
didn't
I was
see
the
that.
first one. I called it first because I knew Frederic
Yeah.
was going to, and I wanted to get it before he did.
Yeah,
Two
yeah,
Mancinis
yeah.
and one
Spalletti.
Spalletti. But you know what? You know what?
And what's yours?
Yeah, but I really, 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 really dislike Spalletti so much. So
Yeah.
you cannot even imagine.
Yeah.
But Mancini
Is even
is
worse.
probably even the worst choice than Spalletti. There is one thing good about Spalletti. He will enter and he will probably clash with a lot of players, and maybe they need that. What I was expecting, honestly, from Tudor, and he's not doing it. But you know what I will do? I will vote Spalletti. So at least the two coaches that I really don't want, they are 50-50 here in the live. That's beautiful. Hey, let's go with the last question so that we close the live of today, because I know also that Kevin needs to leave. Or if you need to leave immediately, Kevin, just say goodbye. Huh? You don't wait for us.
I'll hang on for the last question. All good. Thank you, guys.
Jackie Warfa, thank you, my friend. Hi, guys. What is OnlyFans? OnlyFans. Woo.
We are OnlyFans.
OnlyFans is what Frederic is on, but
That's what I'm on.
But what Zaki said is that we are only fan.
I'll
Hi guys,
drop
we
the
OnlyFans.
link to my channel.
Yeah.
We are OnlyFans. We saw this coming with transfer we had. I agree. In example, instead of upgrade to Alberto Costa, we went for downgrade, clearly lacking vision. On Alberto Costa, I didn't believe in Alberto Costa. I think we are over evaluating a player today. I didn't want him to stay. I didn't care, honestly. On the other side, I said, if you take me Joao Mario, why not? But not as a starter. The problem is that today we didn't bring a starter and he's not even playing. So today the starter there is Kalulu, and that's a huge, big problem. So my take on that one.
But I think Zaki brings up an interesting thing, right? Where we all talk about observations that we think we all share. Like Tudor's waiting too long to make substitutions. How can he not see that we all see this? Or everybody says we desperately need center backs. Why have like the people that can actually make a change in the squad, they're not doing this? Why? And it's such a curious thing, like as a fan, that everybody sees this, yet it's not being done. Yet they're the ones in the positions that are paid and professionals and have a career and are doing this. So I have to imagine there are just things that we just don't understand. Or can't comprehend, or just don't have the details behind it. Because there's no way that the situation can be that everybody's in their position and they're just there through sheer dumb luck and don't have a clue what they're doing. So I have to imagine I have to believe, and I want to believe, that there's more detail behind it that we can't comprehend as fans who claim to see everything that doesn't get done.
Kevin, you work with companies around the globe. I do too. And you're telling me you've never met people in positions of authority that are there by dumb luck?
But consistently all the time. It happens. Yes, you are right. There are plenty of examples of it everywhere in the world. But the level of consistency at which this is happening.
But you just need a sporting director. It's all our transfers, which were unsuccessful, like 90% of them, were because of the lack of a football director. Because I think a football director is the link between management and the coach, and is that objective part in between, because a coach always has his favorite players that he worked with and wants to get into his new team. Then management looks at numbers and maybe possible resale value after some time, while a sporting director looks at all those criteria and doesn't make one criterion bigger than the other, and tries to assess it as a whole and make the best decisions based on all the separate criteria. And that's what we lacked in these, because we had Giuntoli playing cowboy, buying whoever he wants, kicking out whoever he wants. Nobody said a thing, if I can believe the media.
We said a thing, but
Yeah, you have Komoli working with an algorithm, and word around the campfire is that Tudor asked for other players. He doesn't want to blah, 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 blah. If you have a sporting director in between all that, that's the perfect person to make an objective assessment of what is needed and what it will cost. And then you can start making focused transfers happening, outgoing and incoming. And I think this is what we're missing right now. And that's my humble opinion, but I don't count for anything because I know nothing. But I think that's the missing link here.
it's because Frederic is OnlyFans. But I think to one aspect of this is singling out the Costa and Mario, not swap, but two independent deals. I think is the odd deal to focus in on from the summer, because nobody expected Costa to start. João Mario, like Beppe said, I think a lot of us anticipated coming as a rotational piece, one that I think has not been given a fair shake and is better than maybe some of the treatment from the fan base. If you want to look at a questionable deal, you bring in Openda for Frederic, 45 million buy clause that's by all reports fairly easy to obtain, when by his profile, it makes very little sense to bring him in. But that 45 million likely buy clause could have been attributed to an actual starting right back or a midfielder or a center back, three positions that we were clamoring for. That's the confusing deal.
Mm-hmm.
The Costa versus Mario is a wash as far as I'm concerned. And certainly it was over the summer.
I agree with that one. And we close. Doesn't matter who the coach is or the player are. Management need to choose an identity. I believe that the identity at Juve exists from the past. We just need to, taking the dust from it, because there is a clear identity at Juve. Should have been, and that we are not seeing since a few times. But I totally agree with that one. So I would not even say choose an identity. Is just put the dust on the identity that is extremely strong somewhere there at Juve and stick to it. Juventus should always play with the same spirit and style. Pick a formation and build on it. Pick a formation and build on it. I that's the only thing that I would not 100% agree with it, because when we are doing it, we are the first one here. No, but we should play with a 4-man defense. But the 4-man defense, it doesn't work because we lost. Let's play with 3. So on that one, I don't 100% agree. The coaches that I prefer the most is the one that are changing formation based on the players that they have, and they go. Then if we have Bram, look at Conte, look at Lippi, look at so many coaches from the past. What did they do? They have a problem at a certain moment. They change a formation from a 4-2-4. You have a Pirlo. What do? You leave him on the bench or you play him? You play him. Conte went with a different way of playing 4-4-2 before starting to play that 3-5-2 before Lazio. Lazio prediction as by Colo, really fast, because if I'm right, I will cut it and I will put the prediction of Fred in the shadow. Otherwise, we go. Dai, who wants to start with the prediction? Kevin, start prediction so that we say hello to everyone.
1-0 loss.
2-1 Lazio.
We draw 2-2. Finally score.
In Roma, 1-2 victory Juve with a goal at the 88th minute.
By whom?
Winning goal.
By whom?
By who?
Between the 88th and the 92nd. There in the
And who's gonna score? Who's gonna score? Openda. Yeah, I saw it.
Let's not exaggerate. Calma. I don't know who will score, but I tell you, victory in the last minutes from Juve 2-1 against Lazio. Arrivederci ragazzi. The chat, fantastic. I was really happy to have you here. Next Thursday is the how much? 30th. I should
My birthday. My birthday.
Oh yeah?
Hey.
Yeah.
October guys are the best. On the birthday of Frederick, maybe he will be there, maybe not. We are here.
I will.
And we do a party after the last game. Arrivederci a tutti. Grazie Zach. Grazie Kevin. Thank you, Frederick. See you next week. Ciao.
Ciao.
Buonanotte.